The passion trap. Most founders die broke chasing passion instead of chasing problems worth solving. Here's the shocking truth. Passion doesn't pay bills. Paying customers do. You can be obsessed with candles, yoga, or vintage cars. If nobody's desperate to buy what you're selling, you're running an expensive hobby, not a business. The founders who hit six figures fastest are the ones who fell in love with solving a painful problem, not with their own product. They chose the market first, and the passion followed the money. Flip that order, and you'll starve slowly while telling yourself you're building a brand. A hungry market with a mediocre offer will always out-earn a cold market with a perfect one. Stop asking, what do I love? Start asking, what do people already spend money trying to fix badly? That single shift in questioning is the difference between a founder who's still grinding in 5 years and one who's already sold their second company. Passion is fuel, not direction. Get the direction right first. Volume beats perfection. Nobody talks about this, but the fastest way to $100,000 isn't a better idea. It's more reps. While one founder spends 6 months perfecting their offer, another one launches 5 bad versions, gets brutal feedback, and fixes it in real time. Guess who wins? The one who acted. Perfectionism is fear wearing a business suit. It feels like diligence, but it's actually avoidance. A polite way of never getting judged. Every rejected offer, every awkward sales call, every no is data you can't get sitting in a planning document. The market doesn't care how long you thought about it. It cares how fast you adapt. Founders who hit $100,000 fastest treat failure like a tax, not a tragedy. Expected, small, and worth paying for the lesson. Volume compounds. 10 mediocre attempts will teach you more than one flawless plan ever could, because the plan lies to you and the market never does. Stop refining in silence. Start shipping in public. The $100,000 skill stack. There are only 3 skills standing between you and 6 figures: getting attention, converting that attention into a sale, and delivering enough value that people stay. That's it. Not funding, not connections, not a fancy degree. Most founders obsess over logos, office space, and business cards while ignoring the one skill that actually moves money: selling. Here's the uncomfortable part. If you can't sell, nothing else you build matters, because a brilliant product nobody buys is just an expensive prototype. The founders who break through aren't smarter, they're not luckier. They simply got good, fast, at asking for the sale and handling no without flinching. Master offer creation, master persuasion, master retention, and you become nearly unkillable as an entrepreneur, because those 3 skills transfer to any industry, any product, any market shift. Everything else is decoration. Build the skill stack before you build the empire, because an empire built on a shaky skill foundation collapses the first time the market gets hard. The pricing lie. Underpricing isn't humility. It's self-sabotage dressed up as kindness. Most new founders price low because they're secretly terrified their offer isn't good enough, so they use a cheap price to apologize in advance for a product they haven't even built confidence in yet. Here's the shocking part. Cheap prices attract the worst customers, the complainers, the refund chasers, the ones who never take action and blame you for their results. Meanwhile, higher prices filter for serious buyers who actually implement, refer others, and respect your time. Doubling your price rarely costs you half your customers. It usually costs you the ones who are draining you anyway. Profit isn't the reward for having a good business. It's the fuel that lets the business survive its first real crisis. Founders who stay broke aren't undercharging by accident. They're underselling themselves in their own head first, and the price tag is just the visible symptom. Fix your self-worth, and your pricing fixes itself. Speed over certainty. Waiting for certainty is how good founders become permanent employees of their own excuses. The market rewards speed, not confidence. You will never feel ready. Readiness is a feeling manufactured by your brain to keep you safe, and safe doesn't build 6-figure businesses. The founders who win aren't the ones with the best 5-year plan. They're the ones who launched an imperfect offer on Tuesday, while their competitor was still validating the idea in March. Every week you delay launching is a week of data you'll never get back. A week a competitor gets closer to your customer. A week your skills don't improve because untested ideas teach nothing. Speed isn't recklessness. It's respect for the fact that the market, not your imagination, is the only honest teacher. Launch scared. Launch messy. Launch 2 weeks before you think you're ready, because ready is a myth designed to protect your ego from public failure, and public failure is exactly how mastery gets built. Discomfort is the down payment. Nobody builds a $100,000 business inside their comfort zone. Comfort and growth have never once shared the same address. The cold call that makes your stomach turn, the price increase that terrifies you, the content you're scared to post. Those aren't obstacles blocking your success. They are your success, disguised as discomfort, so most people quit before collecting it. Here's what separates founders who make it from the 95% who don't. The ones who make it treat daily discomfort like a subscription fee for a business that actually grows. They do the awkward outreach anyway. They ask for the sale anyway. They raise the price anyway. Meanwhile, everyone else waits for the fear to disappear before acting. And it never does, because fear doesn't leave, you just get more reps doing things afraid. Every uncomfortable action compounds like interest. Skip enough of them and you stay flat forever. Do enough of them and one day you look up and you're the founder everyone else is studying. What if everything you've been told about building a business is the exact reason you haven't built one yet? What if the reason you're still stuck at 0, or stuck at 10,000, or stuck at 40,000, refreshing your bank account and hoping it magically changes, isn't because you're not smart enough, not connected enough, not lucky enough, but because you've been playing a game with the wrong rules the entire time? Let me tell you something nobody wants to say out loud. Most people don't fail in business because they lack ideas. Ideas are cheap. I've heard 1,000 of them, and 99% of the people who had them are still exactly where they started a year later. They fail because they were in love with the idea of being a founder, but never fell in love with the boring, repetitive, uncomfortable actions that actually make a founder rich. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to discover your genius business plan sitting in a notes app. The market doesn't reward potential. It rewards proof. Here's the truth about the first $100,000. It is the hardest money you will ever make, and it is also the most important money you will ever make, because it's not really about the money. It's about becoming someone who knows, in their bones, that they can create value out of nothing but effort and attention. Once you prove that to yourself, the next 100,000 isn't hard. It's inevitable. But that first 100, that one demands blood. So let's talk about why most people never get there. They chase passion instead of pain. They fall in love with a product nobody's begging to buy, then wonder why the market goes silent. Meanwhile, someone with a boring, unsexy offer that solves a painful, urgent problem is quietly printing money because they understood something simple. Nobody pays for what you love. They pay for what removes their pain. Find the pain. Attach your offer to it. Everything else is decoration. Then there's perfectionism, the most respectable form of cowardice ever invented. You've dressed up your fear as quality control. You've called your hesitation strategic patience. But what it really is this. You'd rather stay unproven than get judged. And I understand it, because getting judged hurts. But here's what hurts more. Waking up 5 years from now having built nothing, protected nothing, risked nothing, and having absolutely nothing to show for the years you spent being careful. Volume beats perfection every single time. Launch it messy. Fix it in public. The market will teach you faster in one bad launch than your own mind will teach you in 6 months of planning. And can we talk about pricing? Because this one makes me want to shake people. You are not being generous by charging less. You are telling the world, and more importantly telling yourself, that you don't believe in what you built. Cheap prices don't attract grateful customers. They attract the ones who complain the loudest and implement the least, because people don't value what they don't pay for. Charge what reflects the transformation, not what reflects your fear. The founders sitting comfortably past 6 figures aren't smarter than you. They just stopped negotiating against themselves before the customer even showed up. Speed. Let's talk about speed, because speed is the one advantage that money can't buy and talent can't replace. While you're waiting to feel ready, someone with half your ability is already 3 launches ahead of you, already collecting the data you're too scared to go get. Ready is a lie your brain tells you to keep you safe. Stop waiting for the fear to leave. It won't. You move with the fear still in the room. That's not recklessness. That's how every single person who ever built something real actually did it. And underneath all of it, underneath the pricing, the speed, the offer, is one uncomfortable truth. Discomfort is not the price of admission to success. Discomfort is success arriving early, wearing a disguise. That cold outreach message that makes your hands shake. That price increase you're terrified to send. That post you keep deleting before you hit publish. Every time you do it anyway, you are making a deposit into a version of yourself that cannot be stopped. Every time you avoid it, you are choosing to stay exactly where you are, dressed up as waiting for the right moment. Nobody is going to hand you the first 100,000. It will not arrive because you were patient or polite or perfectly prepared. It will arrive because you did the unglamorous work daily, priced yourself like you meant it, moved faster than your fear, and refused to quit at the exact moment quitting felt reasonable. That's it. That's the whole game. It was never complicated. It was just uncomfortable. And uncomfortable is where every real business begins. The $100,000 mark was never really about the money. It's the proof, the undeniable bank statement-backed proof that you can take nothing but an idea, an uncomfortable amount of effort, and the willingness to be judged and turn it into value the world was willing to pay for. Every founder who's ever crossed that line did it the same way, not by waiting for certainty, not by protecting their comfort, but by choosing action over excuses, day after day, long after it stopped feeling exciting. You don't need a better idea. You don't need more luck. You need to start, stay uncomfortable on purpose, and refuse to stop until the proof is sitting in your account. That's the entire challenge. That's the entire game. Go build it. I'm rooting for you. Genuinely. Good luck out there, founder. Now go earn it. What if I told you that the business you keep putting off, the one sitting in your notes app collecting dust, is actually costing you more by not starting it than it ever could by failing? What if the fear you're feeling right now isn't a sign to stop? It's a sign you're finally standing at the exact edge every successful founder once stood at, terrified, unqualified, and one decision away from everything changing. Somewhere right now, Someone with less experience than you, less money than you, less readiness than you, is launching the exact thing you've been overthinking for months. And in a year, they'll be the one teaching your lesson, not learning it. The first $100,000 doesn't go to the smartest person in the room. It goes to the one who was willing to look stupid in public before they looked successful. So what if today, right now, before you close this video, you stopped waiting for permission, stopped waiting for certainty, and finally started? Because 6 months from now, you're either going to have 100 reasons why you didn't start, or you're going to have your first 100,000. Which one are you choosing? Stay till the end, because what I'm about to show you next changes everything.